Good morning, YouTube. My name is Maly Brown. If you never heard of me, make sure you like and subscribe. First things first. Boop, boop, boop. Do what you gotta do. Today we are gonna bring you some value, three leadership skills to shift in 2021 and beyond. So these are the three leadership skills you may need to succeed. So get your pen and your pad. Let's take notes. Boom. 2020 has brought us many crises, but has also offered leaders numerous learning opportunities. It has demanded an evolution of how we work and how we learn. The shift in these skills are subtle, my bad, but they will better equip leaders to lead, whether it's remotely from the kitchen table in 2020 or in person as we navigate towards a more hybrid office environment in 2021. The three skills are communication to empathy. You have to be able to communicate to people in these type of times. Emotional intelligence and emotional agility. The third one is time management into context management. So let's go back to communication with empathy. Effective communicators and productive leaders are intertwined. When I led learning and development functions at a high tech companies, communication was number one skill leaders and managers wanted to learn and practice. This year has forced leaders to communicate constructively even without answers. They have had to push beyond their comfort zones, beyond sharing updates, asking questions, and even listening actively. Leaders have been asked to go deeper and develop empathy. Mr. Brown, a professor, an author, says empathy fuels connection. It's feeling with people and connection with the person's situation. VP of Talent said, it's showing you care and not just as a manager, but as a person. She highlighted how managers have had increasingly connections with their team this year as they share stories of their family members being sick, the difficulties of homeschooling, and other kinds of loss. Shahid emphasized the importance of making space in one-on-ones to not just talk about work updates, but also what's happening in their personal life. As burnout continues to get worse, this skill has become more important for leaders to practice on a regular basis. Eventbrite CHRO David said in the recent WSJ article, they are encouraging managers to ask employees how they're really doing. Like, more importantly, wait for the response. Empathy is being able to make space between your question and someone's answer. Number two is the emotional intelligence part. It's emotional agility. And that says a former entrepreneur turned technology investor was asked, what's the most challenging skill to learn as a CEO? He said it was the ability to manage their own psychology, or as I call it, manage your emotions. I have coached many executives on this skill, and we have reviewed situations in which the conversation was charged and what happens when one individual reacts emotionally versus responds neutrally. This emotional intelligence, the ability to be aware of and control our own emotions. Emotional agility goes beyond awareness and control. Susan David, a renowned psychologist, emphasizes that emotional, agile people are not only aware of their feelings, they know how to navigate through them. How do we do this? David emphasizes the need to detach from the situation and be aware of your thoughts, acknowledging that we are just thoughts and emotions. They do not define you. As leaders become more emotional agile, they will quickly understand not just the intent of their actions, but the impact that they want to have. When intent and impact are aligned, communication is clear and emotions are not triggered. And even when they are leaders can be shiftily recognize this and adjust accordingly. Number three, we're coming to the third skill, time management to context management. When it first dawned on us that working remotely would be here to stay for some time, we followed the same pattern the learning industry exhibits in the late 1990s. We took our design framework from the classroom straight to the computer without attempting to adapt accordingly. Finally, we realized different mediums call for different design, and we need a more integrated and contextual way of learning. It was called flipped classroom. Now we are seeing the same with the remote work. We cannot simply transfer how we work in the office into the home space, cramming meetings, presentations, and brainstorming sessions into Zoom calls simply won't suffice. The flipped workplace, as coined Allison Baum, is about leveraging what we learn from the flipped classroom and applying those techniques to how we work. Our context has changed, so we need to manage our time and design our days around how we work based on what we're working on and with whom we're working with. Shahid explained it is rewiring people from the default. When figuring out how to plan our time, we have to be more intentional about how we come together. We need to consider what kind of work needs to be done, like synchronized or asynchronized. And when we do come together for meetings, and who needs to be in the meeting, what is the agenda for those meetings, and what if any decisions are we making? Do all of the meetings need to be on video? When can we safely go to the office? What meetings would be better in person? Designing our days and our cultures for our new hybrid workplace is a skill we all need to keep cultivating. One of the first things I do when I was working with a client is to review their calendar. A client of mine is a CEO of a startup who averaged 12 Zoom calls a day and wonder why she had no time to think about the strategy for 2021. Our work is not burning us out. How we're working is a little more empathy, emotional agility, context management will help us to end 2020 successfully like we did and set up for this new 2021 and beyond. So those are the three skills, man. I hope you got a little bit of value. Rewind this, play this as many times as you need to, write notes, and just learn new things every day. That's all I'm bringing you. G Maly give great value.